Hello and welcome to Night Jams, Free Flow's podcast about art and culture. I'm your host, John Thomas Pryor. Today I will be talking to Matthew Stearns, and let's cue the opener. Corey, what are we doing today?
Seems looking pretty good. Thinking about we changed some stuff
Elon
up,
has
you know?
to fight his worst enemy, himself.
Yeah! Too much power!
Under a building. What compelled you to do this?
Well, you see, there's this guy named Corey, and he was like, hey, you should do that. And I was like, no. And then I did. Why didn't I do it?
It's got kind of a weird structure for a movie because it was originally shot as a TV pilot.
I'm gonna do it with a little bit more speed. I came in and there's a camera and I was like, ah! This is gonna be a quality podcast.
Quality. Only quality. Yeah. Whenever I see your last name, I always want to say Steam, and I know that's so wrong.
So funny story about that, actually.
Yeah.
So Stearns, last name, right? Stearns.
Yeah.
When I first came to Free Flow, 2012, and I was in the computer system, Nate. Am I allowed to say names in this? Should we say names? Like,
yeah,
even if people who don't come here anymore?
Yeah.
So still say names?
Nate's an old...
You know what? It might not even been Nate. I just talked to Nate about it. So somebody put my name into the system, and when they read my name on paper, the R and the N connected, I guess. And so from 2012 until 2014, I was in Free Flow system as Matthew Stearns.
Matthew Stearns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I went to basic training, and I had to cancel my membership, I went in and they were like, "Yeah, there's no Stearns in here. You've been in here. I thought you've been in here." And so they pulled me up by what they knew me as. They're like, "You're not Stearns," and I was like, "No." So it's funny you say that because
yeah, but it's Stearns.
Yeah,
Stearns. Yeah, you're very stern.
I'm not though.
Which is actually one of the things I wrote down here was playful discipline.
Playful discipline. I'm gonna turn the gain down a little bit
Yeah.
because we were like up in the numbers over here.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is good.
Probably not.
Yeah.
The quality, they'll get better as we go on.
And you know, maybe eventually, second one.
Yeah, actually,
the goal.
yeah, there's some very cool tech out there that you can plug in. We both have good microphones.
So like have one block
But
and then both.
The
plug
nice
in
thing
or-
about the Yeti, though, because it can do the audio or the stereo sound,
Mm-hmm.
we could have a round table with like 6 people, and
Yeah.
we don't need any more microphones.
Yeah.
So that's why this guy is definitely... And Robbie actually already had this, so I just bought it off of him. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the story of Free Flow's microphone.
Free Flow Academy,
Yeah,
Hybrid Arts.
that's us.
Sure is. We don't go by Hybrid Arts anymore, do we?
That name doesn't stick. It doesn't roll well.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, Free Flow Academy and Hybrid Arts. It's long, but it sounds cool.
Yeah.
I think it's on our business card still. We
Yeah.
should check that later.
I always like to call us a multidisciplinary gym. I think that flows out a little better.
I like the performing arts.
Performing arts.
Yeah.
That's nice too.
So when I was away for Army stuff, that's how
Yeah.
I always referred to Free Flow was, it's a performing arts gym I used to go to.
Ah.
People were like, well, what do you do? And I was like, anything, parkour, dance, martial arts, music, etc. Performing arts. It's
Performing it. Yeah.
I think movement arts might be more.
Yeah, that'd be more up our alley. Because
But we have music. Music's not really movement.
No. Well,
Movement of sound.
You move air to make sound in your body and your hands.
Yeah, I'm not.
And
I'm
like
not
you look
buying
at the
it.
Blue Man Group, they're very animated.
But
very-
they're a music entertainment group,
That's true.
and to be entertaining, movement usually helps.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it requires movement. Entertainment doesn't require movement.
Yeah.
Like, look at stand-up comedians. They just stand there with a microphone. Kind of like
Basically.
us, but we're sitting.
Yeah. And
I think we could be comedians one day, though. We could aspire to be on their level.
I love when comedians... Do you watch... I have this weird fascination with the way comedians talk shop. Because it's very similar to, like, other disciplines. How they think, like, their discipline is one of the hardest. Or, like, any really niche-y discipline. And I'm sure, like... I used to listen to a lot of, like, illustrators talk about, like, what it's like to be a freelance illustrator. And they have a very similar beat and cadence to the way they talk about their industry to comedians.
That.
Yeah.
I can see any subject matter expert or similar person. I can see how when two of them get together, it's a different kind of conversation.
Yeah. I like hearing people who are in the biz, like talk shop.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
In the biz.
Yeah. That's kind of what this is,
In the
you know?
biz.
So
We're in the biz?
we're so in the biz.
Oh, so in the biz.
Yeah,
Just get up in there.
well, the funny thing about being like in the biz of like parkour is now everyone knows what it is. It was made up within our lifetimes.
Yeah,
And,
definitely. Well, was it though? Because it was introduced in pieces in like 60s, 70s.
Definitely.
Not all of us
going back to
were alive in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that French army trainer.
Was it a French army guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called the natural method.
Okay.
Yeah, and he would run his guys through the woods to like an obstacle course he had set up. And he'd teach them, and he'd do a lot of like conditioning on trees and stuff. Very parkour.
So very natural as well.
Yeah.
Natural method. I like it. I see how that came to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Like that word?
Yeah, Herbert, I think his last name is.
I don't know.
Or the French pronunciation of Herbert.
He's dead now, so.
Yeah. I mean, why were you talking about this guy?
It's like, who cares about history classes, right?
Yeah.
Someone coming in here? I hear keys. We're good.
Yeah.
Cut that out. Don't. Leave it in.
So, first time I met you, or I really got to know you, was you were helping me prep for Halloween. Yeah. So, really quick before we get to that.
Uh-huh. I know I've told you this before, but I want to see if you remember. Do you remember the first time I met you?
You have told me this before, but I forgot how it actually goes.
So this was years ago, probably 2012. I was just here on a Saturday, open gym, back when open gym was like $5 all day, crazy. We had like one small section of the old gym, right?
Yeah.
And I was working on handstands, and you came over and showed me how to do them on the wall.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because Doug showed me how to do it and then walked away before I could practice. And then you came over after he walked away and was like, that was bad. Let me show you how to do it better. Because I'm not good at handstands. I'm still not good at handstands.
Handstands are tricky.
They are.
Yeah.
And I never really trained them because I just didn't care.
It's this weird balance of just like you need to muscle through the strength, and also you got to build all this crazy balance upside down. Yeah. So,
but I didn't know who you were. I thought you were just some cool guy that was just willing to help me. Yeah. And then my buddy that brought me to Free Flow was like, "Yeah, that's actually Doug's brother," and I was like, "Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
That's hilarious."
Yeah. So, anyways, Halloween.
Yeah. So
that was a crazy night.
That was a crazy night. So, behind us was a solar company that would get these huge cardboard boxes that when their solar panels would come in. Mm-hmm. They were this thick cardboard, and we still actually have all these panels we painted.
We kept them through the move?
Yeah.
Where are they?
They're in the back.
In the back?
Yeah. I didn't want to snag them, and I didn't bring them up to the loft. So I was thinking about putting them in the walls, up in the loft.
Okay.
So it's like
stone. Well, what if we use them and permanently transform part of the gym into like a creepy little corner?
That'd be cool.
Instead of, for what we did for Halloween, it was kind of...
It
didn't look good.
It was watered down.
It was cool. Yeah. We had like one cardboard piece every like 5 feet in the gym.
Yeah.
Why don't we just use all of them together and make like
one sweet dungeon
cool
room,
like dungeon room or like dungeon corner or something? I think totally that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to beef up the walls of the new place. Put portraits and get some paintings going.
Yeah.
So maybe have a dungeon.
No, we
corner.
totally make use of those.
Yeah,
those
we
panels.
Totally could. This headphone keeps falling out. I'm really bad with headphones.
So basically, we painted all these cardboard boxes to look like stone walls.
Yes.
And your talented fiance.
New
fiance.
Okay,
congratulations.
Going back to French.
Yeah. She helped a bunch and
because I couldn't.
Yeah, and you were very. You were there in spirit. You got a subway.
I was the unskilled labor for the night.
Yeah.
I put the matte finish on things, and that was moving them somewhere they could dry.
Yeah. I love it.
Because you had to
also definitely someone. You're very animated, and Andrea's very introverted, extroverted kind of dynamic.
She's very introverted until it comes to people she's comfortable around.
Yeah.
So it's hard for her to come out of her shell, but now she's cool around you. She's cool around a couple of people at Free Flow.
That was like the first night I met her too.
Yeah.
And really, and a good way to meet someone. If you have a chance to stay up all night and paint cardboard together.
Yes, till was it, like 3 a.m.?
Yeah, we were there for a while.
And then we came back at like 10 or something. before they opened, for
Yeah,
sure. Because
yeah, to
I
set it
remember
all
we
up.
came back before they opened because I had an obstacle course for a private school's field trip
Yeah.
the morning of Halloween.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So
Yeah, that was a long day.
yeah. So in this kind of, you know, we're in the old gym and we're painting all these pieces and we're trying to decorate the gym for Halloween. We start talking about your life plan.
Oh man.
Right.
Oh man.
And I was really blown away because, you know, it's like I'm used to talking to people at Sierra College and I'm naturally very curious about people and how they're like putting themselves together. So when I asked you had it all laid out. You had like plans.
It was laid out, but it's also very basic and simple.
Yeah.
It leaves lots of room for change, which has already happened. So
Yeah, so it's just like, well, walk us through that. Walk us through how did you define yourself and make that goal in the first place, and how you're okay with letting it modify and change for the best.
So let's start with the plan. My plan. So I joined the Army at 17, California Army National Guard. For those of you who don't know,
I've got a wristband.
You sure do. I gave you quite a few things. We're not going to talk about that though. So I joined the National Guard at 17, and I went through basic training and my job school, and part of my job was to be a linguist. So I went through the Defense Language Institute in Monterey. I learned how to speak Korean, and I came back. And while I was gone, active duty for training, I decided I really liked the Army, and I want to do it full time. So I got a full-time job, and I really liked it. So I started making my plan, and my plan is I'm going to do 20 years, maybe a little bit more, in the military. Military intelligence, so we're doing that kind of stuff, and that's all we're going to say about that for now. And then once I get out, I plan on doing some sort of 3-letter agency, maybe, possibly. Don't really know yet, but that's possibly the plan. There's goals I want to hit in my military career. There's a couple things I want to do. I've already started doing them, but those have also already changed. So, yeah.
Yeah. Even while you were explaining this to me,
and that was just the simple.
Yeah.
Down.
I was kind of having a flashback.
There was more details that I've explained to you.
Yeah. I was kind of having a flashback to that night, and even with that, it's like that's still impressive to be talking to. Normally it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm here because my parents made me. I'm getting my general ed out of the way, which is code for I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm 22 years old now, and I kind of have my life laid out more than most people. So
yeah,
I get it, but it also comes from how I was raised. I was very close to my grandparents, so I grew up with a different culture than people do. They were the older generation. Our most of our parents' generation. So I still had a lot of their values and beliefs ingrained in me at a young age.
Were they the type of people that survived the Dust Bowl and were very like 30s Depression era farmers?
No. So my grandfather, the younger of the two, was born in 45. And my grandmother was born in 42, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so they grew up pretty much at the tail end of World War II.
Okay.
My grandfather was in Vietnam, but that was in the 70s. So, yeah. But it's still, our grandparents' age that I grew up with. Their rules, their values, stuff like that. So I kind of matured faster than...
50s, 60s era values.
I matured faster than most people, at least I would like to think. So that's kind of what led me to having my plan laid out a little bit more concrete than most people.
Yeah.
So...
No, I think that's really admirable, and also like how, sometimes you can define that plan, and then when that doesn't work out 100%, you have a very strong chance of just like having everything fall apart.
Right, and that's
and it sounds like you've made it able to adapt to
and that's kind of the
is...
point of keeping it simple,
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm doing this for this amount of time. I'm going to do this for this amount of time. Something happens in between or during one of those times, we'll roll with the punches and see what happens. Like, I planned on staying enlisted for my entire career in the military. For anyone who doesn't know, there's two sides of the military. There's the enlisted and the officer side. I planned on staying enlisted, and there's a lot I wanted to do as an enlisted individual. However, I recently decided I'm going to become an officer, and so that brings out a whole new avenue of opportunities. It eliminates some, but opens some new ones as well. So we'll see how that goes. But if I do 20 years active service in the military, I'll be able to retire with a full retirement at age 39. And that'll be 20 years of service with a pretty good retirement out of the military. So
Yeah. Which is stellar.
yeah, 39 years old, I'll be able to retire. But obviously I'll get a job after that because you won't know what to do with yourself. You still have over half your life to live. So
that's those 50s values. Yeah.
oh man, yeah. For those of you that didn't see that, knuckle bump explosion noise, blast explosion away. Yeah.
That's what that was.
That's exactly what that was. I really hate headphones, man.
Yeah, we'll have to get some nice muff ones coming up,
and not work out before this so that they don't get gross.
Yeah, this is the down and dirty. Let's make something happen.
Yeah,
setup
debut episode. Though. Yeah, super stoked. It was just a week ago that we kind of planned on this.
Yeah, I was joking about it,
and we kind of agreed that it needed to actually happen.
Yeah. So I'm pumped that we got it figured out.
Yeah. Speaking of which. How often am I going to be on your podcast, John?
Probably whenever I can't get a guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was already talked about before. We just wanted it on the podcast. I'll fill in anytime nobody volunteers. I'll totally fill in because this is cool. We have lots of cool conversations about life.
It'd be fun to document it,
and the Illuminati triangles.
Illuminati triangles. The Illuminati. There's so many good jokes about that.
That all goes back to that Halloween night.
Yeah,
most of it, anyways.
And I love how kind of everyone, just culture at large, have really taken hold of that conspiracy theory.
Oh, right.
And just
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No conspiracy theory safe from Illuminati.
Have you seen those videos that go viral on Facebook and they just reach outlandishly for something like, hey, so you see it's raining right now, and then they just find a way it's like a 5-minute video and they just find a way to relate how it's raining on a Tuesday to the Illuminati.
That's nuts.
You haven't seen those?
I have seen a lady try to convince the viewers that we were witnessing a double sunset, like 2 stars setting, and one was a planet that was coming at us to kill us all, called Planet Nubu.
Planet Nubu. Is that like Planet Naboo from Star Wars? Any relation?
Yes.
Okay.
Make that a giant gas giant that doesn't exist except in people's minds.
Was Naboo a planet or a star in Star Wars?
It was a planet. It was moon.
Wasn't it a moon? Well, Endor was a moon.
Yeah. Maybe
that's what. See, I told you my phone having next to me is a good idea.
I don't want to go too far into my very dislike of the planet Nebu, Piccolo, whatever. It doesn't matter the name of that conspiracy theory because it's just so dumb. It was like it really consumed me for like 2 days. I was like, what are these people talking about? Because I find astronomy actually really fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Well, and astronomy is really cool, but the thing about it is a lot of people take it too far, maybe. Kind of like you're saying.
Yeah,
and
or like
there's
a
too
novice.
many conspiracy theories out there.
Yeah, a novice. Well, that's one of the problems with most conspiracy theories about astronomy.
It is indeed a planet. I just found the answer.
Excellent. Sorry. In Star Wars.
In Star Wars, Naboo, not Nubu, not Nubu or what'd you call it?
Naboo.
Naboo.
I purposely try to pronounce it different every time to make it less credible.
Less credible.
Because
I like it.
It's not.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, because to get the spice of this conspiracy theory just under one bubble here, it's supposed to be a giant gas giant, bigger than Jupiter. It's in
bigger than Jupiter.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in a.
How big is Jupiter?
If the sun was a grapefruit, Jupiter would be a blueberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the sun was a grapefruit, Jupiter would be a blueberry.
Yeah, and Earth would be like an ant. So very, very, very small.
Let's just find out how big that blueberry is.
Yeah, and these things are like ridiculously far apart. But so it's supposed to be on this ridiculous elliptical orbit, and it only comes around every so many millennia. And so here's this. First, that's a little ridiculous. The fact that something that has that much mass would have an elliptical orbit. Most elliptical orbits are just comets. So, like crazy elliptical orbits is totally a thing. He's just ditching that earbud.
Yeah,
it's not even your friend. And I mean, like lizard people are supposed to live on it. It's gonna swing by and like destroy the planet with its gravity.
I have heard of this conspiracy theory. Yeah, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
It is so dumb. And what's greater is they use evidence of like Florida has made like locks to like protect it from water, right? Like or like dams and levees and things to like stop water from flooding the cities. And they're like, why else would the government be funding these? There's no other explanation other than that Florida's under sea level and the ice caps are melting. So, other than that perfectly simple explanation that everyone's agreed on, it must be the preparation for Planet Nubo.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's dumb.
It's like, well done. That is a loony idea.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
So, Jupiter.
Yeah.
Diameter, 86,881.4 miles.
Yeah, that's big.
That's really large.
That's so big.
So big.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of underwater and global warming and rising sea levels.
Yes.
I can go multiple directions with this, but I'm going to go the way I originally wanted to. Scientists and engineers in Venice are actually creating like dam-like structures to help slow down the rising sea levels in Venice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because Venice is the one that's floating on.
Venice is the one that has the like waterways and canals and stuff through the entire city.
Yeah, because a lot of those houses are like on like pontoons and things.
Yeah, and so most of the city's already flooding. And I'll have to find the video again that I saw.
Yeah.
The scientists talking about it, but it's super cool.
So they've got this crazy... So they're building some sort of like...
Yeah, and it's kind of like... It has like... So if you look at your hands, right? Like, and you interlock your fingers, it kind of swings open. So like where your wrists are, that's the hinges, and it kind of swings open and then swings closed, and like your fingers are the teeth of this thing, and they interlock, and it's kind of like how they control the water flow in and out of the city. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably am explaining the science and stuff behind it wrong.
Well, all you need to know...
But that's why I need this video.
Yeah, so, but, you know, it's like just an ancient city that's designed for a certain level of sea level.
Right.
And sea level rises, they have to adapt because they don't want to lose this cultural, you know, icon.
Right, because Venice is beautiful.
Yeah.
And old.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal for Italy, you know.
Like one of their main things.
Yeah.
Main shebangs.
Yeah, apart, you know, from Rome. And you know...
the Vatican.
Vatican. Well, the Vatican's its own country, so...
I mean, it's Italy.
Yeah. Having no... other than one foreign exchange student I met from Italy, having no connection to Italy, I think it's safe to speak for that country.
Speak for them, huh?
Oh, so I have a question for you.
I probably have an answer.
I've been pondering a lot. It's like, when were you in a place that you knew you didn't have the skill, and then you woke up one day and you were like, man, I'm pretty good at this, it's almost like absorbed like into your character, and it's just like part of who you are. But what was that transformation, that journey like to get to that spot? If you've experienced this, dishing off your face of...
Well, that's my thinking face, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a good face.
You know? So something that I knew I was no good at, and then just kind of like overnight.
Not overnight, but like maybe like 2 years later. After like working on it and...
Oh, so something that I practiced and became good at. Yes. Okay, so something I was totally trash at.
Totally trash.
Like garbage. Worse than garbage.
Yeah, you were like,
bottom of the dump.
Yeah.
And then
I'm giving up
after a couple of practice sessions, I was good. Okay. I'd say talking to people.
Really?
Yeah, actually. So...
Because that almost goes back, but, you know, you got Army training for that.
Well, that we're not even talking about that.
Okay.
This is before that, way before that. So when I was a kid, right, I was really fat, and so I was really introverted, and I stayed away from people. I didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't talk to my family. I didn't talk to really anybody. So like I wouldn't say my social skills weren't there. I would just say they didn't get the practice that most people do because I didn't really associate myself with people. So because I had knee surgeries and stuff that prevented me from working out and being outside and doing things other than just sitting on my couch. So I got really fat, and I was really self-conscious of myself. So I just kind of was like, cool, so I just won't be around anybody. And then
perfectly reasonable solution.
When you're that young, it really was. It was like elementary school, middle school.
Yeah.
And what really got me out of that was in 8th grade, into 7th grade, going into 8th grade, I applied for the leadership class in middle school. So like they do all like the school events, like rallies and school dances, stuff like that.
Okay.
And that class is pretty much what got me out of that, actually.
Huh.
And it got me because I had to go interact with people from the class, and I had to interact with people from the school and the teachers, the staff, faculty, other students. And so that class kind of forced me to come out of my shell a little bit and do things I wasn't exactly comfortable with. And then people that I met in that class, they played a role in it too.
Was there something specific about, like, is there a specific kind of moment you remember where it's like you had to approach a certain person or hang up a certain sign and...
No, not really. No, it was just pretty much throughout the year.
Yeah. Throughout
the year. I had some friends that I made in that class, and they kind of understood. You see me, I'm still playing with this stupid headphone. It doesn't want to stay in my ear. I'm so bad at this. I don't know what to do. Like, am I angling it wrong?
Just stick it in there. Yeah.
Ow. There was a couple people that I got partnered. Ow, that really hurt. That I would get partnered up with to do projects, and they kind of like saw how I was. And so we would continuously get partnered up together, and it was kind of like through that group outing, coming out with that group, that kind of got me to come out of my shell with everybody.
That's
so
cool.
It's kind of like a progression, like in parkour, you have the progressions for all your vaults, all your bar work. You have your progressions, and that was kind of the start of my progression to become more social, more extroverted.
Yeah.
And then now, as you said earlier, I'm pretty animated, pretty outgoing.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of what sparked it. So, and then high school, there's just people I associated myself with. We weren't the quiet group. We were pretty loud. We weren't rude or annoying, I would say. We weren't that group that nobody liked. But we were definitely people knew when we were there.
Yeah, not the quiet group. That's really funny.
The people that just sit in the corner and play their emo music.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you define as emo music? Or would you even call that a genre? Because if you go on like Spotify and Pandora, like you can find like emo radio and like emo as a genre on Spotify and stuff. What would you classify as?
I think it depends, because emo is short for emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But like teenage angst. Emotional.
Yeah,
so
it's a whole different kind of emotion.
I mean, emo band back in the day was like Dashboard Confessionals.
Yeah.
Was like the big in that genre. Mm-hmm. I haven't even heard their music in a while. It's very quiet.
Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah, it's like, and I think emo, kind of does it.
It definitely has a negative connotation.
Yeah, it's like hipster.
Yeah.
Like no one goes out of their way to identify themselves as an emo kid, or a hipster. But
I mean, there's definitely kids that do it.
Yeah, well, like you can recognize them and you can label them as that, but they're not like emo with pride. Like they're not rocking that label. They're like too cool for that label. It's like no, man, like
they do their thing.
You constantly are wiping that hair out of your face. Like,
oh my god, that was me.
Just
you can't just use the hair. That was me. Have you seen my old hair?
Maybe some
Did
product.
I ever show you my old hair?
Do you have it in a baggie or something? Or
John?
No. I've only known you with
the short hair.
Yeah, with the buzz. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to show you pictures.
Okay, cool. You had the wipe.
Yeah,
like,
but see,
it's great when they do it with the two hands, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they do the first swipe out of the hand, the next one comes in, and the other hand just comes right back in.
Yeah,
and it's like
they do
this like Yeah, and then what really this does is just tips their head sideways so their hair can't fall with gravity back into their eyes, and so now they're just kind of got their head cocked sideways.
And people who tend to do that for a longer duration, they have this when you see them walking around later in life, they all have I just knocked the headphone out of my ear. Oh my gosh. They have this the way they stand, their posture, their head tilts. And they don't notice. It's not something they do on purpose, but they sit like this. And you can see it, especially in high school age kids. They'll sit like this, and it's because of the hair thing.
Yeah, keep the hair out of the eyes.
And you can tell who used to have longer hair.
No.
Yeah, because they have the head tilted to one side or the other. So and the only reason I realized that is because I had the longer hair, so I didn't do it to the extent that you were describing, obviously.
Yeah,
but I did the same kind of thing, trying to keep the hair out of your face. Even though I liked my long hair for whatever reason that was. It was awful. But for a reason was I liked it, so I did the same, kind of like hair move out of the way thing. And I realized I actually got called out for it when I joined the Army. Everyone was like, why are you standing with your head tilted? And I was like, I'm not. And so I started looking myself in the mirror, and yeah, sure enough, my head was always slightly to the right.
Huh.
So I had to, over time, I had to cognizantly, or is that the right word? I had to consciously focus, and be like, hey, I'm standing tilted. Let's straighten that up.
Yeah.
Let's fix it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, very symmetrical.
I wouldn't say I'm symmetrical.
Mm.
I'd say I'm quadrilateral.
Nice. Really holding back that laugh right there. And just to preface that whole, or put a bow on that whole conversation, this is a conversation between someone who has a very short haircut and someone who hasn't cut their hair in possibly a long time.
And you know what?
Probably since junior high.
Yes.
It's been long since junior high. I could pull it back in a ponytail.
And if for some reason nobody knows what we look like, you can go on the Free Flow Academy blog, run by El Byer, one of the co-owner founders.
Yes.
And you can see us on the Free Flow Academy blog.
Yeah, we have our staff photos there.
Yes. And then also Mr. John here has his vlog that he does, where you can see pictures of him.
Yeah.
Well,
John.
I guess they're more videos because of vlog.
Moving pictures, I think they call it these days.
Moving pictures, I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were back in the wild, wild west.
Yeah. You took your Automo car to get over here, right?
My Automo car?
Yeah.
I thought it was my vehicular.
Yeah.
Well, my boss still calls it vehiculars, and I don't understand it. I'm just kidding. He doesn't. I do.
So, when people look at discipline, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And they might not see this, right? They might see you and see a bubbly personality. It's how are they? I saw your phone, and it had the 24-hour clock on there, and I was trying to figure out what time it was, and that's why my train of thought.
It's 8:27.
Okay, I was like 2 o'clock.
No,
it's 20. What is what?
It was also upside down, so it's justifiable that you couldn't read it.
Yeah.
I'll blame it on the upside down, not because of the lack of math ability.
On the upside down. Basically, how can you balance this playful discipline you have?
Playful discipline.
Because that seems kind of like an oxymoron in a lot of ways.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
I would say it's funny you asked that because I just went to an Army leadership course for June. That's where I was at, as you know. And that's actually one of the things we talked about is how do you keep yourself professional when you need to be, but also you can be relaxed and have fun or playful when you don't need to be disciplined or professional.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really stuck out to me while I was there, and I brought it up during that discussion was, you don't take your work home with you if you don't have to. So, for example, when I'm at work and I'm doing my work, I'm not thinking about home life. I'm only thinking about work. So if something's going down at work, I'm only focusing on that, and I'm disciplined when I need to be, and I'm kind of I'm focused. I'm very professional, handle everything the way it needs to be handled. And then once I leave for the day, or that project's done, or whatever, we're just messing around, or maybe we're at lunch, or on break, whatever, then the other side of me comes out, because now I'm on break, now I'm on lunch, now I'm not at work. That issue, that's a work issue. That's not an after work issue. So now I can be me. I can be fun, I can be playful, I can do what I want. Monday nights I teach here at Free Flow, And during class, you know, I'm me. I'm fun, I'm playful, but I'm also disciplined when it comes to safety, because that's one of the things that we harp on at Free Flow, right? Yeah. Especially in my classes, I do everything. I can't risk getting hurt because of my military career, so everything I do in parkour is very safe. I don't do any of the flying, tricky flips or, you know, double gainers off of things, you know. I don't do anything flashy because I keep myself safe so that I don't ruin my military career. Yeah. And so that kind of transfers over just because that's who I am and that's how my classes run. And so when someone's doing something unsafe, well, I'm in a work environment, I'm in a professional environment. If I need to be disciplined to get something done, I'm going to be disciplined. Yeah. So that's kind of how I handled it.
Cool. So it's almost like they've got like two boxes basically.
Yeah, they have two. It's two separate boxes, but they overlap. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, when I'm, it's kind of like those. What are those flowcharts called? We have like two circles, but then they have an overlapping portion.
A Venn diagram, perhaps?
Is it a Venn diagram? I don't know what they're called. I've been out of school for too long. Yeah. Yeah, but so like they have some overlapping portions, like, and the parkour class is a perfect example.
Like if you had two pieces of colored glass and you overlayered them.
Yeah. So like if I had a red and a yellow, the red is the discipline, the yellow is the playful, orange is both. And an example of red is when I'm at work. Example of yellow is when I'm sitting on my couch watching TV. Yeah. And then the orange is like parkour class.
Yeah. So there's this happy in between that you can still have this super jovial approach to.
I gave up on the headphone again.
Drop in the earbud. It's like the opposite of a mic drop. You just like headphone drop.
There you go. I have nothing to hear anymore.
Excellent. Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, it's good insight.
Separation.
It's very organized.
Separation of powers for the government.
Yeah.
Same thing, but different.
Yeah, it's like a balance of power. You know.
Yeah.
Like when you're too disciplined, your playfulness can come and kind of balance that out.
Yep. And if you're too playful, then you're not disciplined enough.
You know. Yeah. Maybe 3 days of junk food and, you know, just hanging with the pals.
What's wrong with 3 days of junk food, John?
I'm trying to think of like...
Don't mess up my diet.
Don't mess up my diet.
I live off of junk food. No, I don't.
No. What's your favorite movie? Out of curiosity.
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino. That's a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that because, like, you know, being, you know, having a strong figures with your grandparents, and that's very much that relationship.
Yeah, so it was actually...
It's like the strong male.
It was actually my grandma that introduced me to that movie. We watched it one day after school, and so what happened was I got home from school, and we used to watch a lot of movies. And so I got home from school, and we were watching a movie by... what's that guy's name? He makes the scary movies. They're like scary suspense movies. What's his name?
Is it Steven?
No, it's not Steven. It's you would know exactly who I'm talking about the second I said it. He made like Stephen King. Stephen King. Yeah. We were watching
writer.
Is it the writer? Whatever, same thing.
Yeah. A lot of his books have been turned into movies.
Yeah.
They probably bear.
So we were watching a Stephen King movie, and it was like super scary, and I was super young. I was probably like 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, not watching it, not doing it. So she was like, okay, we'll watch something else. So she turned on Gran Torino, and I loved it. Loved it so much. Like, I was, 5th, 6th grade, you don't have the attention span for a movie. I sat and watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Probably not the best movie for a 5th grader to watch. lot of things I didn't understand at the time, but I do now.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was about the movie, but I really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of subtle things in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being that young, you probably don't pick up on most of it. But
I mean, even when like he's like slightly drunk or he's like buzzed.
Yeah.
He goes down
he's
to the
buzzed
basement.
like the whole movie.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like, when he's invited over to the monk house.
And he fixes that.
He fixes the dryer.
Yeah. Yep.
And he's kind of stumbling around a bit.
Yeah.
And you can put yourself in that in his shoes. Like, like I don't know. I could see, just how life plays out sometimes. It's like, how did I get in this situation?
Yeah.
I'm drunk and I'm fixing this person's,
And I think one of the things that I liked the movie the most about was after the movie is over, my grandma and I talked about it because, like I said, we watched a lot of movies. She was pretty analytical about some things, not a lot of things.
Okay.
But like we used to talk about movies a lot.
A little post-critique,
I mean, to an extent, I was like in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Maybe 6th grade.
Yeah.
So it wasn't intense.
So
but
like, cool.
we talked about it, and she was like, yeah, pretty much. So like they. No, so she was like, yeah, so like that guy was pretty cool. You know, he really hated that family, but because he was racist, and he really hated them. But then over time, he realized like, hey, hate's not a good thing to do, and he ended up befriending the family and kind of sheltering the boy. What's his name? He never called him by his name, so I don't remember. But he kind of befriended the boy and took him under his wing and helped him grow, and just kind of showed that hate is dumb.
Yeah, and like the purpose and the meaning in like helping someone develop and grow can slice through any of that surface stuff of race and.
But he was also just a crusty old Vietnam veteran.
Yeah, totally crusty old Vietnam.
Or Korean Nam. What am I saying?
Korean
war vet. I don't remember which war it was. It was Vietnam, right? It was definitely Vietnam.
Yeah.
Definitely Vietnam. But yeah, so that's probably my favorite movie. Either that, or if you want like a really like sad movie. I like what's it called? If I Stay.
Huh.
Don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
It'll make you cry.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I don't cry during movies. I cry every time I watch it.
Huh.
Little known fact.
Yeah,
Every time.
I always get a little tear jerky when like it's about brothers or like fathers like recognizing like the value of their son or something like that. Like that always gets a little tear jerky for me. Like it's like, oh, it's a little too close to home, you know? And they're just like breaking down. Yeah.
Interesting.
So if I stay,
yeah. It's
rough plot, rough tone.
It's towards the end of the movie, really, that it gets rough. So there's a family of 4, mom, dad, son, daughter. They're on a road trip in the beginning of the movie, and they get in a car accident, and they're all in the hospital. Mom and dad killed in the accident immediately. Boom, they're gone. It's just the girl and the brother. And the brother, he was doing okay. He had some major injuries, but he was gonna live. Meanwhile, she was in a coma. She's in the ICU under intensive care. And then the brother, he's like making his recovery. He's alive and everything. And then just all of a sudden, something medical happens and he ends up dying. And so now this girl's in a coma, fighting to stay alive, not knowing that when she comes out of her coma, she's gonna be an orphan with no family left. Okay. Except for her grandparents.
Yeah.
And but the thing is about the whole movie is while she's in her coma, she's there in the hospital, like in spirit, and she's standing there over her body, like, you need to wake up, you need to wake up. She's watching her boyfriend, she's watching her grandparents, she watched her brother die, like she's watching what's going on, so she's aware, but like her body is just in the coma. Yeah. And so like the whole movie is like, am I gonna fight through this? Am I gonna stay alive? Am I gonna come back, or should I just kind of go? Yeah. And the part that gets me every time is where the brother had just passed away, and the grandfather was standing over her saying, you just let go. No one would blame you if you don't fight. Your whole family, your mom, your dad, your brother, they're gone. Yeah. It's okay. No one's gonna blame you. It's not selfish. Just go. And it gets me every time. Dang. Every time. Talking about it doesn't, but like if I watch it, because like the music and like the surrounding, the environment, the setting, it gets me.
Crucial storytelling.
Yep. Andrea saw me cry and was like, dude. I looked at her and she was like dry-eyed, like totally fine.
Yeah.
I was like,
just like.
I keep talking about Andrea because she's very excited about this podcast.
Excellent.
Where can she find it?
Wait, you can find this podcast hopefully I'll get it uploaded to Free Flow's channel.
Free Flow's channel
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
So it'll be launched there, but hopefully you can find it wherever podcasts are found. So
like Apple, iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes, Google Play. I really like the app Pocket Cast. That was the one.
Never even heard of that one.
That was the one I mainly used.
Oh,
What's up, Lon?
How's it going, Lon?
Lon just poked in it.
Famous. Yes, you are.
So
Lon, great guy.
yeah.
Our
That
boss.
is not the first Lon bomb. If you go back in my YouTube channel, I think it's my second video I posted, and it's a parkour video, and it's late in the gym, and I'm doing parkour, and then Lon just walks like right through the frame. It's really funny.
I've seen that. I would have said that sooner, but I was drinking water.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah, that was funny.
And when I showed it to Mike, and I was looking for like some critique of like how can I make it better, and he had such a kick out of seeing just a Lon walk through. And he's like, you need more random stuff. Man.
Yes.
You just need like random things happening. So I still need to capitalize on that. My vlog's kind of like that though. My vlog's pretty
spontaneous.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's definitely like whatever the heck I want to do with my YouTube channel is my vlog.
Like I was watching the vlogs from the Free Flow move recently, and I saw you were moving, you were building, you were moving, and then you were skateboarding. And then you were moving again. And I was like, wait a minute, let's go back for a minute. Where did this come from?
Yeah, because like when you have a 14-hour day, you gotta take the breaks when you can.
Yeah.
And
you
might as well skateboard.
And using 14-hour days as an example, going back to the playful discipline, that's a great example of that.
Yeah.
If you are going to be working for a 14-hour day, you need to know when the discipline needs to happen and when the playful needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because if you're working a 14-hour day, odds are you're going to have downtime at some point.
Definitely.
So you need
it's
to
just not
be
that
able
efficient
to embrace.
because it's long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
that's a
like,
conversation for another time.
Definitely.
We've had that one before.
Yes.
That's a long one.
Yeah.
A lawn one?
A lawn one? Oh, that's so good.
I don't know about that.
No, it's fantastic. The never-ending name puns at Free Flow, it's the best.
Yes.
Thank you, Joe, for that.
It is Joe. That's a good one.
Just Joe Many Joes.
Joe Many Joes.
Yeah, because it's like nobody knows, but it's Joe Many Joes.
I got that.
All right, so how long have we been doing this?
I don't know.
We are at 50 minutes.
Well, 47 if you subtract where we started.
That is true.
We can keep going. What else do you have written down over here?
One of the big things. I had two other kind of big things I wanted to talk about. I wanted you to vent a bit about Fort Bragg.
Okay, I can vent. That felt really good. That was my neck cracking right there.
That wasn't like when people do a neck crack and it's like a quick jerk and then you hear a pop.
Yeah.
That was like a slow like Wolverine crack, like when he's like
or like a Terminator thing. You know, he gets punched in a movie and just cracks his neck back and goes oh.
Yeah, it was just all neck muscle and slow. Clunk clunk. Yeah.
It felt good though.
Excellent.
I needed that.
So Fort Bragg. You claimed that Fort Bragg was your favorite place to me one day.
It is my favorite place.
Still is.
Yes.
It still holds Matt's favorite place.
It does. And I don't think it will ever be topped, actually.
When was the first time you went to Fort Bragg?
Before I had a memory.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, infant, before your cognitive memory actually kicks in. Yeah, that was my first time. There's pictures of me there, but I don't remember, obviously, because I was like one, probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. But the first memory I have of Fort Bragg, probably elementary school, sometime in there. So, Fort Bragg, California. There's also Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and that one sucks.
Okay.
So don't go there.
No.
It's a military base.
Definitely California, West Coast.
Fort Bragg, California, West Coast. It's a little bit south of Eureka, north of Willits, like northwest of Willits, Ukiah area. About 4 hours from Sacramento, right on the ocean. Beautiful. Love it. Anyways, enough about where it is. Fort Bragg, it's a small ocean town, and it's known for its beach, Glass Beach. You can Google Glass Beach, and it's really famous. It's a huge tourist location. What Glass Beach is it used to be a dump. It was a dumping ground, for trash, recycle, anything was just thrown on this beach because somebody somewhere was like, we have trash, let's put it next to the ocean. That's a wonderful idea.
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, and so over the years, this was years ago, and over the years, the trash had been washed out into the ocean, or it's kind of just, it's been so long, a lot of it has finally deteriorated to nothing, but like, there's a lot of stuff out there that got thrown into the ocean, including glass and pieces of pottery and stuff like that. And so when you go to the beach, there's a lot of stuff that gets washed up from time to time, like there's like car engines that have been washed up, and you can actually find like pieces of metal like embedded in rocks and stuff, because the coastline in Fort Bragg is very unique. It's almost like a tumbler, like
the website.
No, not that Tumblr. That one, I don't like that Tumblr.
No Tumblr.
I couldn't figure
Fort
out.
Bragg
Andrea
was
loves
not
Tumblr,
like Tumblr,
and I'm gonna say it right now, just because she's gonna listen to this.
Uh-huh.
I hate Tumblr. I couldn't figure out how to get it to work for me. I
feel that way about Twitter.
How
do people navigate this?
I don't know. I did the same thing on both. I liked so many things.
Text.
I followed so many things, and it's just comprehensible. Anyways, so Tumblr for for rocks or marbles, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it tumbles them to make them
drum.
smooth.
Yeah,
yes,
normally Tumblr, it's like a drum full of sand.
Yes,
and you throw
very coarse sand.
Yeah,
and you throw in rocks or hard substances that you want to make smooth.
Yeah, it's like a slow sandblaster.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's a very particular texture to it.
Right, and so the coastline of Fort Bragg, it's very unique in the sense that there's so many rocks right off of the beach where the water meets the sand. There's so many rocks that...
Where the water meets the sand is a great band name.
Where the water meets the sand?
Or
that sounds like a song name.
Yeah, or like a
Water
lyric.
Meets the sand.
Yeah.
Where the water meets the sand.
Yeah,
I should not sing. Anyways.
You've got potential.
I can go really high and I can go really low. That's not even that low. I'm not going to do it.
So we're in the depths of the ocean. We're so low.
No, not even the depths of the oceen. It's right out there.
Yeah,
right,
it's
right
just
off
right
the
on the
coast.
coast.
There's so many rocks and they're jagged and I don't want to say coarse, but they're just jagged rocks. When the tide goes up on the beach, it will pull stuff down, right? Because the ocean's strong.
Uh-huh.
It works out. It will pull things into the ocean.
It reads Nietzsche. It's like whatever doesn't kill me.
It's a vegan CrossFitter,
Yeah, that's the ocean. Everyone. Poseidon is actually a vegan CrossFitter.
Yes. So it pulls things from the beach, which used to be the dump, into the ocean. And the rocks, the way they're set up under the water, just naturally, obviously, not man-made, it tumbles. It keeps the trash and the glass and the rocks right there. It doesn't let it go out to sea. It stays right there. And so over time, with the tide coming and going, it's constantly picking up and moving this glass over the rocks. And the rocks is tumbling this glass. And so now the glass is smooth. The pottery that's been broken and thrown in the dump, it's gone out there and now it's smooth.
Old plates and coffee mugs.
Plates, bowls, cups, whatever. It's all out there and it's been tumbled over so many years, so many decades. And it's been washed up on the beach. So the dump was closed, I don't even know what year, but a while ago. Long time ago. Probably like 80s, 70s.
Okay.
That's just my estimation. I'm probably wrong, so don't quote me. But the dump got closed and... headphone came out again, guys. Dump got closed and the whole area was off limits. Well, eventually, once the trash was gone, it was a nice little secluded area, so people started going down there and they discovered that the entire beach isn't sand anymore. It's all pieces of tumbled, smooth glass, pottery, stuff like that. And so when you go out there, people like to sit and they dig through this glass because what they're looking for is the rarer colors of glass. Mm-hmm. So when you start talking about colors of glass, there's what's common colors: clear, green, like a brownish, amber, yellow.
Yeah.
Those are really common colors. But what can you think of other than car brake lights that are red?
Yeah,
or blue? or purple, right?
Yeah.
So people would go out there and they would dig for hours just looking for the rarer colors of glass. And so that's kind of what made Glass Beach famous. It eventually became, I think it's just a state park right now. I don't remember. But became like an actual place people could go to. They were allowed to go there, but you weren't supposed to take the glass home. You were just supposed to kind of like look cool and then leave it and go.
Yeah.
You can dig through it.
You pack in, you pack out.
Sure, we can go with that.
Yeah.
You kind of play with it, look through it, dig, but you have to leave it there. And what people were starting to do is they started taking and collecting all the rare colored glass. And so people that got caught were actually getting fined for theft and burglary, and not burglary because that's home invasion, but like they were stealing because it was a state park. You weren't allowed to take the glass. And then eventually, I want to say in either the 90s or the early 2000s, the city passed a bill or a law or whatever that allowed you to take small amounts of glass with you.
Really?
And that's what has turned Glass Beach into an even larger tourist attraction over the years. So going back to when I started going there, every summer my family used to go on a camping trip. One big camping trip, and that was our big thing every year. And I would say 4 out of 5 times we would go to Fort Bragg. And they have, it's right on the beach, so there's like trees and foresty areas where you can go camping with either tents or RVs. My grandparents had a big RV, so we would always go RV camping. And then, your eyesight distance of the beach. Yeah. So, we would walk over to the beach, or we would get in the car and drive up to McCarricker State Park, which is another camping ground. We'd either stay there or we would just go there for the day for the beach, whatever. It was super cool. So 2017, I went on vacation with Andrea to Fort Bragg. I hadn't been there in 3, 4, 5 years since then. And Glass Beach has been totally remodeled. And I hate it. It's garbage. It's absolutely trash.
It's actually garbage.
Not in the sense that they brought the dump back, but I hate what they've done. They've taken what was a natural tourist area. When I say natural, all that was done was, so from where you can park your car, the furthest out you can park your car to the beach it was probably like 6-7 feet tall blackberry bushes and like just other sorts of thorn bushes, like really big. And so what the city had done is they had cut down a trail worth. And the city, maintenance people, they would keep the trail clear, but it was just one trail. It was unpaved. It was like dirt and gravel.
You had to hike in, basically.
Yeah,
you had to park and hike.
It's like maybe like a 3/4 of a mile trail. Yeah. And you had to walk in, and then you can go anywhere on the beach once you get there. Well, what they've done is they've completely torn out all of the bushes. They've paved the trail. They've put up fences. They've put up, wires and stuff to like navigate you to it. They've put in a massive parking lot, like huge, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but it cut into where that field of bushes was, which added to, the beauty of the area. And it kind of added
the seclusion.
Yes,
yeah,
that's where I was going. Is
yeah.
The bushes added the sense of seclusion because it's, it was closed off. You can't see it from the street. You can't see it from anywhere else. You have to go there in order to see everything. And they got rid of all the bushes. And it was miles of bushes. They just cut them all out. Dang. They're gone. There's a big parking lot for tons of people to come. There's signs that say, hey, this is a state park. There's rules. There's, the state, state troopers can go out there because it's still a state park. And now, they sit out there and, they watch you. And it's awful. And so over the years, so many people have come to Glass Beach and have taken this rare glass away that now all that's left at Glass Beach, it's not all that's left. You can still go and find the rare colors, but they're very small pieces. And I'm talking 2 centimeters in diameter. Very small pieces of glass where you can find clear pieces of glass or green or brown pieces that are, 6 inches in diameter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, big pieces.
Yeah.
But, they're maybe not all of them are that big, but you can find pieces that big if you dig far enough, but they're still smooth because they've been tumbled in the ocean. Yeah. But all the rare colors are gone because people have collected it and taken it home with them, that now when you go out there, all you see is white, green, brown, maybe some yellow, and it's hideous, and it doesn't look good, and it's losing its attraction. Like that's what Fort Bragg has made its name on, is it? Because Fort Bragg is just a small little fisherman city.
It's not even a fort.
It's not a fort. It used to be a Spanish fort years and years ago.
Huh.
I don't think it was actually in Fort Bragg. I think it was up the road a little ways. But yeah, they used to be called something else, and then they changed their name. And actually, recently, the city was voting on changing their name to something else. And I saw it on the news and wanted to throw the remote through the TV because it pissed me off.
Dang.
But yeah, and so over the years, tourists have come and collected the glass, and now there's no glass left. So the state parks and the city are actually trying to start a new movement. I forget what it's called, but they're basically breaking glass. So like in like junkyards, they're breaking taillights out of cars. Like they're allowed to do it. Like they go in, they like purposely break the taillights out of broken cars. Thug life. Hashtag. And they're taking like broken green glass, and like they'll find something made of blue glass, and they'll like break it, and they take it out there in pieces, and they throw it in the ocean so that in so many years it'll tumble itself and come back on the beach.
And that's how you litter.
That is exactly,
by the government.
And that's the thing. So the city, people in the city, and tourists, they sell bags of glass that you can throw into the ocean. They call it cedar glass. Or seed, like seed glass, like SEED.
Yeah.
To plant, you're planting seeds in the ocean for new glass to break apart.
For future generations to come back to our town.
So that people can continue to enjoy Fort Bragg's main attraction, Glass Beach.
Yeah.
But just not enough people are doing it, and the beach is losing its glass. And so before you know it, the beach is going to be out of glass completely, and then Fort Bragg's economy is going to, spiral downhill. Sound effects make everything better. Yep. It's going to spiral downhill.
That's the sound of the economy crashing.
Boom. Great Depression. Yeah. That was more of like a something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Fort Bragg crashing is much happier.
I wouldn't say it's happier because it's not a happy thing.
It's like if you take a trash can lid down like a snowy hill, maybe, but like you crash halfway. Yeah. So it's like you're just kind of flaring down this hill.
The thing is, though, so when I was just there in 2017, just last year, maybe it was 2016, I remember. When we were there, 2 of my favorite restaurants that we used to go to every time we were there are closed down. Because less people are going to Fort Bragg, because what's their attraction? Glass Beach. And Glass Beach is going away.
Yeah.
So it's slowly becoming less of a cool place, but it will always have my heart.
Yeah.
Always.
Dang. So where do you...
That was a long little rant, but you asked for a rant. Yeah, and I have all of the rants for that place. So
yeah, because it's like there's a lot of like how could you handle that situation better? Like if you were elected mayor of Fort Bragg, yeah, like
governor, take over. I'm in charge of the state. I'm focusing on Fort Bragg.
Yeah. Well, maybe Fort Bragg was like the town of Jefferson or whatever. Right. Who are those guys that are I don't recognize that I'm a part of America.
I don't know.
Is that Jefferson? It's some crazy. It dates back forever. It's like some crazy.
You know what that reminds me of though?
What?
It reminds me of that 16-year-old that's running for mayor.
Really?
Somewhere in Indiana or some tiny little state that no one really knows about.
Well, depending on the kid, confused,
because everybody gets Indiana and Illinois and all those states, Ohio. They get them all which one's which? No one really knows because nobody really does geography in school anymore.
Yeah, when you look at those stars on the flag, they're just kind of blurred together.
They just the names are just written across all of them, and we're interchangeable.
Yeah. It's
don't write on the flag.
Messy star.
Don't write on the flag.
Yeah.
Don't write on the flag.
Well, with free speech laws, you can totally write on the flag.
Do you want me to pull up the U.S. code that tells you'll go to jail if you do that?
Really? Well, you can burn a flag.
Only if it has been soiled by touching the ground, or if it has been damaged beyond. What's it called?
No, I thought free speech laws protected you from being Like it's
No,
like,
so
I have
that's
the right.
just what protesters are saying, and to avoid riots, that's what police are going with. But if you actually look it up in the U.S. codes and laws and sections and blah 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 blah, you'll find that it is very illegal and very against the law.
Wasn't there a big court case about that?
Yeah, and they avoided a riot.
So, well, like, I'll have to look at that court case. 'Cause I remember.
Look at how bad the Trump protesters are now. Now imagine if they had punished somebody for burning the flag, how much worse they would have gotten.
It's true, but like, no, I remember in like, you know, American government class, high school, it's like a little chapter in the book of like, this guy burnt a flag and everyone got really upset. And then the Supreme Court was like, that's under free speech. You can do that. Like that's like a classic example of like, how far you can take free speech without harming someone. I thought, if I'm remembering it right. I could be wrong.
We're going to find out. I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah. Because there's a great West Wing episode where Penn and Teller come to the West Wing, and in their magic act was they rolled up a flag in the Declaration of Independence, and they lit it on fire like it was a cannon, and they opened it up and the flag was gone, but the Declaration was still there, and that's like the first scene of the episode, and Josh Lyman, which is the Deputy Secretary of the President, is like, did they just burn a flag in the White House? Like, did they just burn an American flag in the White House? And like the whole episode was this whole scandal that like Penn and Teller did.
So what you're talking about is in 1984 when some guy burnt a flag in protest of Ronald Reagan, and in 1989 the Supreme Court ruled that it was a form of symbolic speech and protected under the Constitution. However, there are still U.S. codes that find it illegal, and there's it's not an executive order from Trump or executive whatever, but Trump has outright said that anybody caught burning a flag will be punished.
Dang.
Yeah. Bomb dropped.
Yeah, so
now,
traditions and things.
I just don't understand why you burn the flag. I mean, if you're unhappy with the country, get into politics, educate yourself, get into politics, and make the change that you want to see.
Yeah.
If you want to see change, be that change.
Totally.
Burning a flag in protest is not going to do it. I don't care how unhappy you are. Not standing for the national anthem, that's not going to change anything. That's just going to make people call you an a-hole.
Yeah.
You know? That's not the way to go.
Or worse, it's just going to just put you in someone else's ideological camp that you might not fully understand or agree with.
Yeah.
So, and then you're just completely mislabeling yourself and throwing away the beautiful thing that we have in democracy is the fact that you can make your own choice and you can vote for whoever you want. So, yeah.
If you're unhappy with something, change it.
Yeah. But, yeah.
That's something that I like to think about a lot, and something that I kind of, I don't want to say it guides me, but it's something that I try and not live by, but kind of follow, is if there's a change that you want to see, do what you need to do to make that change. And that's kind of what has inspired me to change my plans a little bit, going back full circle, to going from staying on the enlisted side to becoming an officer, because officers have more authority, and they can make changes at a higher level that affect more. And there's a lot of stupidity and poor choices that are made. Now, everything's justified for one reason or another. However, there's some things that could be handled differently that would have a different outcome.
Yeah.
And if there's a change that you want done, why not go make it?
Definitely.
So,
and also it's like, you know, sometimes it's not cut and dry that easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I recently found a philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche.
Okay.
Which he's got this huge mustache. He's like 18th century, like massive man.
Okay.
Way too big.
Way too big for his face kind of thing?
Oh yeah, like it's the biggest mustache ever.
Okay.
Friedrich Nietzsche, he's amazing.
Kind of like kids who haven't grown into their baby size heads yet.
More just like he's really German. Like so he's famous for saying a couple things like whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Okay.
God is dead and we have killed him. Things like that. That's very Nietzsche.
Okay.
But one of his ideas was about envy. He thought about envy a lot, on how like envy was a marker of something. That if you're envious of somebody, that means you're that's a future version of you that you could possibly strive for, but you're not. And so thus that's like the root of envy. And how like envy is a bad emotion if you dwell on it, but if you just recognize like, oh, I'm being envious towards this person, but I'm not envious to everyone. Like I'm not envious to every successful person.
Right.
What about this person's success that makes me envious? And you might realize like, oh, that's because that's a dream of mine, right? But it might not be that clear. You might not realize that that's a dream of yours. Or now that one's giving you trouble now?
Yeah.
The other headphone?
The one that's been good this whole time.
No.
Just literally fell out into my hand. Literally fell out into my hand.
Remember, you picked those at the beginning.
I did. I wanted the black headphones to match my black shirt.
No, you definitely didn't test those.
I should have tested them both.
Because they are different. This one's a little smaller. I feel like we could have...
I just shoved the headphone really far into my ear and it kind of hurt.
That's commitment, man.
What
Time we're at? We're at like an hour and 13.
-3, so hour 10. That's pretty good.
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah. We went from planning lives to Friedrich Nietzsche to Fort Bragg. It was
not in that order, but okay.
No, but
yeah, talked about some movies a little bit.
Yeah, seems like good. Now, is there anything that's been on your mind recently that you want to kind of close on, kind of wrap up the last few minutes with 10 minutes or so?
That I want to close on.
Oh, since you're
No, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Lots of closure.
You so much closure.
I close things as they go by. I close things before they open.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
No.
That'd be bad.
Anything big you're working on next? Any cool?
Anything big that I'm working on?
Progression goals or anything you're working on in self-defense?
Yeah. So in my career, right, I'm working full time for the Guard. I'm actually a recruiter for the military. If you want to join the National Guard, go to one. I'm just kidding.
I've got the website right here on my hand. It's what you've got. National
we're
Guard.
We're not advertising. They haven't paid us. Yeah, so I have a plan right now for short term goal, maybe the next year or so. And as of now, this is totally probably going to change between now and October, so very short term. But I'm going to finish up my term as a recruiter, and then I'm going to actually exit the active part of the Guard service. I'm just going to go back to what the National Guard is, which is 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer kind of thing. And I'm going to use my education benefits to finish my bachelor's degree. Because one of the things you need to become an officer is a bachelor's degree.
Oh, cool.
And so if I go to school full time, I can be done with my degree in 8 months. So the plan right now that Andrea's back, is we're actually going to swap out. My boss has agreed to hire her as my replacement.
Nice.
And so basically, I paid the bills while she was in school, and now we're going to do the opposite. She's going to pay while I'm in school.
Look at that teamwork.
Yeah, it's pretty cool having a fiance, So that's the plan.
2 is better than 1.
And then once I have my degree, I'll be able to go to officer candidate school for the Army active duty.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, my goal is to have my bachelor's degree completed before October 1st, 2019.
Now, what are you going to get your bachelor's in?
Intelligence studies.
That sounds important.
Well, I mean, I'm shooting to be a military intelligence officer.
No.
So I'm trying to get a degree in intelligence to kind of help me fight for my case. Because you don't really get to choose what you want to do. The Army kind of picks it for you.
Yeah.
In a sense, you get to choose, but in a sense, you don't.
So maybe petition.
So
That'd be a better way to say that.
No, so you go through your officer candidate school, and then at the very end they rank you by performance, and then they start at the top of the list and they work their way down, and you get to choose where you go. Well, there's only so many openings in each department, we'll say.
Okay.
So like transportation officers, military intelligence officers, medical officers, so on and so forth. There's only so many openings in each, and so you want to be at the top of your class so you can choose first.
Okay.
But if the Army basically deems that you are a better asset in one area than another, they have the option, it's very rare, but they have the ability to command direct you into that field. Mm-hmm. So that's hopefully the goal, because people tell me I'm smart, but I don't feel like I'm that smart, so I don't want to just rely on hitting top of my class and getting to choose first.
Yeah.
I want to have kind of like a fallback. So
no, that's really good.
yeah. So I picked that for my degree. So that's my short-term plan to kind of do that. So that's what's coming up for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll have lots of freedom because I won't be working full time.
That'd be cool. So we'll see you around more.
Yeah. I mean,
cool.
I'm going to be taking 5 classes at a time, and they're 8-week classes.
So we'll probably see you about the same amount.
No, because I can come here and do my work when I need to just change the scenery kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can come hang out in one of these AC offices and just kind of work in here. Because we have Wi-Fi here yet?
We do.
Did we get our Wi-Fi set up?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, Wi-Fi got set up like halfway.
Nice.
In that crazy month.
Yeah, that was a long month.
Yeah.
I really wish I could have been here. I felt so bad because I was texting Elle. I can show you text messages. I was texting Elle like, I wish I could be there. I want to help. Are you guys still gonna be moving when I get back? Like, I want to have a part in this.
There is definitely still
a lot to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
but I'm still working full time until September 30th. So that's still kind of a while.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, man.
But still, having some extra energy to be like, hey, we should keep working on that gym, keep making it better.
Yeah,
that's always
finding the motivation is a little hard after a big move like that.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna check out and eat my
start
cream.
a podcast.
Start a podcast.
That's what's next with John Pryor.
Yeah,
JTP.
Yeah. And I want to start doing the daily videos again because
that was fun.
It was, and you know, it's interesting when you put that deadline on yourself and you're like, I need to do something interesting enough to make a video about it today.
Yeah,
and
it kind of inspires you to not just be a lazy bum and play video games.
Yeah,
or watch Netflix.
Yeah,
watch like 13 episodes of an hour-long episode show. I've done it. I did it on Saturday.
That's a little. that's
just kidding. He was
Matt
on
laid it down. Yeah, or you know, lost in your own thoughts and not acting on anything. You know, it's like you like that's basically what I've been doing for the last few weeks. You know, I've just been kind of like in this weird state of like almost about to act on something, but still feel like I need to do more research before I do that. And that's it's better to jump in, but I don't know. I was dealing with lots of fluttering thoughts of philosophy, and that you can't
fluttering
necessarily
thoughts of philosophy.
Yeah, you can't really test those like immediately the way you can, you know, like a skateboard trick or something. Like, oh, I learned this new progression thing to like, get this trick. I'm gonna work on that for 3 hours and then feel like I made some progress. You know, you kind of just like muddle around in different writings, and you're like, I don't know. It's hard to have an empirical approach to philosophy.
It's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, you know, it's just. But I did make progress on my idea though, so that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you writing a book about your idea?
I don't know what I'm going to do with it quite yet. It's
because you know the saying, Pixar didn't happen. Well, in philosophy, you know, you got to write it down or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So you can't really take a picture of philosophy. So.
Yeah. I was trying to make one video about it, but I think it's a little big, so it might be a series of videos.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, maybe next time I'm on your podcast, I can sit here and drink water while you rant to me about philosophy.
Yeah.
While I ranted to you about Fort Bragg, you can discuss philosophy.
Yeah, the teaser of that whole idea is just the misreading of the hero's journey, and how I think a lot of, especially like youth culture that is not acting on anything in their life, they're disconnected from the hero's journey, and there's got to be a way to bring that back. And you see people, it doesn't matter, because you know, there's basically my brain's been. That looks fun. Can I do that?
It's like a pose on this chair.
Yeah.
I have really minor ADD. It's non-diagnosed, but it's self-diagnosed.
I have minor non-diagnosed ADD.
I'm probably gonna break the chair. Shouldn't do that.
Yeah. My brain was firing an error about something. You know, I listen to a lot of people's smart a lot of smart people talk about this idea, and I felt like they had like 90% of it, but they didn't have the full picture, and because they didn't have the full picture, it was limiting everything great they had to say to a huge group of people.
Okay.
And those people were disregarding them and labeling them bad things, basically, because I'm talking about Jordan Peterson. This is who I'm talking about.
I don't know who that is.
Cool.
I knew a Kyle Peterson, went to high school with him, and middle school.
Yeah. Peterson is, you can just
really like
Google
him.
him. I mean, he's such a huge
We
force.
didn't get along.
Kyle Peterson. But yeah, so it's like, and it's not just Jordan. It's like it's all these people from, it's all these like professors that they're older, they're smart, they have a life that they can pull on, and also like they're masters in their field. And you know, a lot of people have just kind of like, they don't even want to look at them like they have something dangerous if you listen to what these people have to say. And in some regards, that's true, because if you listen to what they have to say, that make you do some sort of self-improvement. Yeah. They just both came out now.
No, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, it's probably that chord.
Say something?
Fruit
there you
Loops.
are.
Oh yeah.
His voice cut out in my headphones. I couldn't
Yeah.
didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah. But so if I like to kind of be an advocate for things, and to see like this group of, you know, great minds coming together, and it's kind of a big deal that they're all talking to each other because they have like really different ideas, but they're willing to sit down and hash it out and really try to understand each other. And there's this whole other group of people that aren't even like looking at that there's probably people within that group that would benefit from, you know, some more philosophy in their life.
Interesting.
So that's the square I've been trying to circle for the last week. And
Well, I mean, as long as you're not trying to fit the square in the circle, I think you'll be okay.
yeah, or
The circle fits in the square, so maybe that's
Or
the circle
other way
you've been
around.
squaring.
yeah,
Speaking of heroes,
the sphere in the box. Yeah,
two things.
yeah.
One, I've been watching Marvel's Secrets of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I've been watching season 5.
Uh-huh.
It's so good.
It's gotten good.
It's so good.
I remember. I actually a close friend of mine met the creator of that show.
Really? I am
And-
very jealous.
And the creator was super disappointed that people didn't understand the show he was making, because he was going for this kind of hokey show, and no one was really understanding it because it was like so left field compared to the other things that Marvel was doing,
yeah.
and it was connected with that universe, and that was kind
It's
of
connected,
the jar.
and it's also it's its own standalone series.
Yeah.
It could if you take out a couple references that they make to the Marvel universe movies, if you take out those references, it could stand alone. So it's super good.
That's fun.
So anyway, second thing that I
Yeah.
want to say, if you could be any Marvel or DC hero / villain, who would you be and why?
Oh gosh, hero or villain.
Or villain.
That's a big universe, DC and Marvel.
Ooh, and then after that,
Yeah.
you know what? We'll save these for the next time.
Next time.
Yeah, don't answer that.
Don't answer that?
No, we'll save it for next time.
Okay, I'll think about it. That'll give me some time to ponder this question.
Right
'Cause
after this, we'll write it down in your book.
Yeah.
Or I'll write it down in your book.
Excellent. You can write it down right now so don't forget. So You've been listening. So the name is still work in progress, but I think I'm going to call this project Night Jams because this is what we do.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Free Flow Night Jams. Or Night Jams, Free Flow's podcast of art and culture. Because when we're not jamming during the day and having sort of like creative flow and moving our bodies at night when you're too sore to do anything other than discuss fun ideas, that's what we do. We make a podcast. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Night Jams? I like it.
I just got to make sure that it's not already taken. I actually haven't looked that up yet. So,
Use my phone. My phone's right here. You can look up the Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast. Is Night Jams taken? Search all podcasts. Every podcast ever. Night. hey, we've got Saturday night jams, but other than that, everything else looks pretty clear. Doesn't look like no one's taken that name exactly. So do night jams, big free flow F. Can't miss it.
There you go, night jams. Should we put a Z on it? Night jams.
Jams.
That's a total free flow move.
That would be a free flow move.
Because we flow freely.
Yeah.
I think we should do it with a Z.
Let's try it. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been your host, John Thomas Pryor, and I've been talking to Matt Stearns here, and
that's me.
Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all next time. You can catch me in my vlog if you're into YouTube, and you can catch Matt on. Do you have social meets you wanna throw out there, or
do I want to put in a plug?
Yeah, are you plugging
this
anything?
This paper fell out of your book. I don't know where to put
that's
it
probably
back.
the history of the T-shirt.
Okay, I'm just gonna slide it.
Which is remarkably short.
I'm just gonna slide it.
Yeah, perfect.
Right there.
Cool. Okay, I'll ponder that question. You scribble down there.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
DC Universe.
Wonder
Woman.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I got that notebook at the Free Flow Christmas party.
That didn't work.
Just snap right out. It's Fun 360 too.
Do I have social medias? I do.
Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook, Matthew Stearns. Odds are, if you're listening to this, you're probably friends with Free Flow. So just look for our mutual friends: L. Byer, Long Byer, John Pryor, Corey. How do you pronounce his last name? Romines. Romines. Okay,
yeah.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to pronounce
like
it wrong.
roaming
Podcast. Yeah.
Roaming Romines.
Romines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody.
Travels.
We'll probably be mutual friends. So find me.
Yeah. Should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Cool. No Instagram or anything like that?
I have it, but I mean, I don't post anything.
Alright.
My last Instagram post was like
cool.
6, 7, 8, 9 months, maybe a year ago, probably.
Solid.
Don't
So it
use
sounds like he's probably got like an Instagram story.
If you really want to follow my Instagram, it's at Matt Stearns. I'm pretty sure. And if it's not that, use my Facebook account, see what I look like, and I'll pop up somewhere on Instagram, and you can follow me that way.
Yeah, and you can just like double tap that face. Give it some love. Give it some likes.
It needs it.
Go ahead and smash that like button.
Yeah.
All over Matt's.
I only have like 13 photos, but sure, you can like them all. That's cool.
You only need. I saw.
You
this
know what?
crazy.
If you like all of my photos on Instagram, that means you have to do some research and find me. But if you like every one of my photos and then message me that you listen to this podcast, I will follow you back and send you a heart.
I like that. So DM Matt, like all his photos, DM him, and then you'll get another follower. That's the easiest follower you're ever gonna get.
It's not easy though, because they're gonna have to do a little bit of
but you're gonna follow
stalking.
for life. You know?
Yeah, because I don't know how to unfollow on Instagram.
And the thing
if somebody knows, also DM me how to unfollow people.
We gotta end it there. That's amazing. Okay, everyone, have a good night.